All right, 4.5, rational exponents homework. Number one, we want to simplify the expression, right, why not a real number if applicable. All right, so the first part, I need to get a new marker. First part is 49 raised to the 1/2 power. Yeah, let me see if I can get a different one. Let's try this 49 1/2 power. Okay, so rational exponents, the bottom number tells you the radical number. That's the power. So this is rewritten as square root of 49. Okay, understood 1. This is understood 2. We don't normally write it. Square root of 49 is 7. So that works out. Part B, that we can see, is in parentheses negative 49 raised to the 1/2 power. So what this means is the square root of negative 49, and then because the negative, and this is even root, this would be imaginary, so this is not real. They don't ask us to simplify, they just say simplify if applicable and then select not real. So for this first one we get 7. Now usually I would put plus or minus. Take the square of a number, you get positive or negative. It doesn't look like it's taking that into account now, but you do need to be mindful that when you take the square root of a number you get a positive or a negative. This one is not real. And this one, because the negative is not in parentheses like this, what we're doing is the square root of 49 and then just having a negative on the outside. So this time we're doing 49 and then the negatives on the outside, so this would give me a negative 7, not because of the plus or minus, but because of the negative on the outside. That says good. All right, number 2 looks similar. We're going to simplify each expression. We got A, B, C, D, E, F part here, okay? So 2A, we have 81 raised to the 3/4 power. All right, so basically what that means is the 4th root of 81 and then raised to the 3rd power. So if you do these enough, you'll start recognizing some of them. 81 can be broken down into 9 times 9, and then 9 is 3 times 3, and then this 9 is also 3 times 3. So because of 4th root, I'm looking for 4 of the same, 4 of a kind, and I have that. So the 4th root of 81 is equal to 3. So we're looking at 3 to the 3rd power. And then when we do 3 to the 3rd power, we get 27. So for the first A part, we get 27. So now with B, maybe it looks like it's doing just separate parts. So first, we are writing it as a radical. So the 4 bottom is the outside, the 3 is the power. And then if you do the 4th root of 81, that's how we get the 3. And then 3 to the 3rd, we get 27. So they want you to do each piece one at a time. All right, so with 3/4, and it's negative this time. Okay. So we'll work that out as well. So we're looking at 81 and then negative 3/4 power. I would rewrite this as 1 over 81 to the 3/4 power, and then same thing, 1 over the 4th root of 81 to the 3rd power, and then from there it's 3 cubed, and we get 27. 1 over 27 27. So the first step they show us, and then we get 1 over 27. 1 over 27. All right, part C. We are now looking at the negative being on the 81. Now it is possible to mix these up, so you got to be very careful and make sure you pay attention to the properties of exponents and those rules, because they change the negative, and that negative out front of the whole number acts just like a normal negative. 81 is negative. You don't move it up or down like we do with the negative exponents. So this time 81 is negative 3/4 power. Because it's not in parentheses, that means it's like a negative times this. So that means we have a negative on the outside. We have our 4th root of 81 raised to the 3rd power. And again, we've done this. It's 27, so we'll just get a negative 27 in this case. D, we have a negative on both. So we have a negative 81 raised to the negative 3/4 power. This negative out front will stay. It's just kind of like multiply the final answer by a negative. Because of the negative exponent, we would move this into the bottom. Opposite location of the fraction is the way I explain it. Okay. And then you would rewrite it negative 1 over the 4th root of 81 cubed, and that would give you a negative 1 over 27. Part E, this time the negative is inside. Negative 81 in parentheses raised to the 3/4 power. We would rewrite this as the 4th root, negative 81 to the 3rd power. Now this one is not going to be real because you can't have a negative under an even root. You do get 4 3s, but negative times a negative is a positive, and negative times a negative is a positive, so you won't get a negative. So this is not going to be a real solution, and it says this is undefined because it is not a real number. And then F, we have in parentheses negative 81, raised to the negative 3/4 power. And so this would be the same. The negative exponent, we can evaluate it and move this in the opposite location. But after this, when you write that 4th root, you still have a negative under that. So this is a good problem. It goes over every different circumstance that you can see. It really helps you kind of focus in on those concepts and properties. So this is also not a real number because we have an even root and a negative under the square root.